Hello interwebs, welcome to Let's Fix Computers. Today we're going to be doing some hard drive diagnostics on a first gen MacBook Air. Now most of the MacBook Airs that you see these days are all third generation and newer, and they have SSDs in them, solid state drives. So for those it's a much different case, but these first and second gen ones actually have mechanical drives in them. So as with all mechanical drives, they have a habit of failing. So I'm taking the hard drive out of this one today to see what I can do with it. I suspect it's failing because macOS has fallen over. However, the problem is that with Macs it's actually quite difficult to run hard drive diagnostics on them because most of the diagnostics tools don't work on Macs. Okay, now what we've got here is a 1.8 inch mechanical hard drive. So I'm just going to retrieve this so we can get a better look at it. I just need to move a few things out the way. These early ones are a little bit fiddly. There's quite a few ribbons that just sort of lay and are stuck down to things, like this one. They don't really go anywhere. Right, we'll just bend that out the way. And I need to redirect this wire here. This is one of the wireless antennas. So just hook that out the way, like that. There we go. And now I can take off the 4 screws actually, that hold the hard drive in place. One there, and a secret one that's under here. Now unhook that and this should lift out. There we go. Right. Let's just move this to one side a moment so we can have a look. Okay, so just to put things in perspective, this is a 3.5 inch drive such as you would find in a desktop computer. Then this is a 2.5 inch drive such as you'd find in a normal laptop. And this is a 1.8 inch hard drive such as you find in very small laptops. They're not very common at all, these. They're typically only seen in the first and second gen MacBook Airs. I've seen a couple of Dell laptops use these things, and also I've seen a couple of HP EliteBooks using these things as well. But their most famous usage is, these are the kind of hard drives you find in large media players like iPods and things like that have large storage in them. So that shows you the scale we're working on here. Now the problem with these is, these might look adorable and amazingly small, but they're properly bad. They're really slow, it's horrific. The only reason why Apple used this thing was that SSDs were just not quite there. As soon as the 3rd gen MacBook Air came along with Apple's micro SATA SSD in it, the MacBook Air suddenly became good. But the MacBook Airs that have got these in, they're just slow. I don't like them. Right, now the problem is though, as you can see, this has an exotic connector on it. If I just peel back this black plastic and undo that, this is a ZIF connector, ZIF, that's zero insertion force, and it's basically a ribbon connector. Now 1.8 inch hard drives come with a variety on them. Some of them are serial ATA and have a miniaturized version of the serial ATA connector. Some of them have these ZIF sockets, some of them have got like pins on them and all sorts. It's not really standardized, which is another reason why the 1.8 inch hard drive is bad. So obviously with a connector like this, you might ask yourself, how the hell am I going to connect that to something else to test it? So the answer to that is I'm going to cheat and look at the back where I should have a USB converter for that connector. Now being a computer repair shop, I've done this before. And I've got a little enclosure here for 1.8 inch hard drives, which I used the last time I hit this problem. I bought this on eBay for the princely sum of not very much money, and I've retained it just in case I saw another one of these. Now of course, if you don't have one of these, or if you can't find one, you may just have to write off your data. However, as I say, I retained this just in case. As you can see, I've got an old one in here from the last time I encountered this issue. So I'm just going to remove this, and yes, it is the same connector. So let's migrate this. I have a funny feeling this one goes the other way up. Right. Shazam! I don't think that is working. Let's just try turning that cable over. Ribbons normally go in upside down. Aha! That's more like it. It's doing something anyway. Just see if my laptop has actually detected it, which it has. Okay, so now I've got a functioning interface for the drive. I'm going to unplug that. I'm going to plug it into a Windows computer and run CTools for Windows on it, so I can actually get a surface scan and confirm whether the disk is faulty or not. Okay, so here we are in CTools for Windows. I'm going to start off on a short generic scan, and what this does, this tests a section at the start of the disk, a section at the end of the disk, and a load of random stuff in the middle. Now, the short test is not a definitive answer because it doesn't test the entire disk, so a pass on a short test doesn't mean anything. However, it only takes about 5 minutes, so it might give you a fail answer very quickly. So since we've got a pass on that short test, we've got to go ahead and run the long generic test. So long generic tests can take anywhere between 1 and 4 hours depending on the capacity of the drive. A small drive like this one's about an hour, but if you've got like a big terabyte drive, expect a 4-hour test time. This is why I run the short test first, because you might get a fast answer. However, the long generic will stop as soon as it finds a bad sector, so you can rely on it to only take as long as it needs to. So we'll let that run through. Oh, and as we can see, it's failed already, so there's our answer. So we're going to go ahead and replace this drive. Now, I could replace this drive like for like with another 1.8-inch hard drive, but if you have a look around on eBay, you'll actually find retrofit SSDs. And so I'm going to acquire one of those. They cost about £50, which is about £20 more expensive than a mechanical drive. However, I can deal with that because it's going to be an awful lot faster. Okay, so here is our new SSD board. As you can see, they spare no expense. It's literally a circuit board. However, it's got the right connector on it, and it's an awful lot cheaper than buying an Apple SSD. It's probably a lot newer as well. So let's fit this LIF connector to it, which is probably low insertion force. There we go. That's all good. And now we're just going to put this into the rubber mount that the old drive was in. It's been a couple of days, well, it's actually been about 5 days, so I need to remind myself which way round this goes. That sits like that. That's going to go in like that. It's not going to be quite as snug a fit as the original drive would have been, but it's actually not bad. That's better than I thought it would be. However, the fact is it doesn't really matter because this thing is shockproof. It's going to stand up to anything anyway. Right, that's that done. So that should now fit into here. I think that goes into the bottom. There we go. So there is our retrofitted SSD. So that now goes back into the laptop. Right. It's never a very confident fit, this drive, but that's normal as long as all the screw holes line up. Right, and we'll just put this across, and that will just hold everything in place. And that's it, we're there. So now we'll put the back panel on that, and it will be reassembled. Right, that does go that way around. Okay, right, that's all our hardware work done. Now, onto software. Okay, right, so being a new disk, we're going to need to disk utility it to format it, so we'll open that up. Wah, wah, wah. It has not been detected. Okay, no panics there. Most likely I've got the disk upside down because the LIF connector is not keyed. So there's actually no indicator on which way up it goes. So I guess we'll take it apart again. There we go, there's our new SSD. So let's go ahead and partition that. We'll get this installed and we'll see what happens.
If you know how to use VoiceOver, press Command.
Shut up. Alright, and there we have it. We are now into macOS again. So the next thing I'm going to do, just as a curiosity thing, is I'm going to run up a disk speed check and find out just how quick or, well, how good this SSD actually is. Cheap SSDs like this will be nowhere near as good as proper SSDs, but if it's even half as quick as a decent SSD, it will still be an awful lot faster than most mechanical drives and horrendously faster than those stupid 1.8-inch drives. So we need the App Store. I need an internet connection first. Okay, now let's run up Blackmagic's speed test and see what this SSD can do. Not bad. Okay, so we're getting about 60 to 70 megs per second write, and we're getting about 140 to 150 read. Now, compared to a desktop SSD, that's terrible. However, for laptop hard drive speeds, that's not too shabby. No laptop mechanical hard drive will be able to pull those kinds of speeds, and a 1.8-inch hard drive won't get anywhere near those speeds. So that's faster than any mechanical hard drive that you can fit to a laptop. So, all in all, good result. Okay, so only thing left to do now is to install updates, get this upgraded to 10.10, and then we're all finished. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye for now.